Welcome to Indian Institute of Public Administration. In the previous episode on economic transformation under 100 ideas of reforms, Viksit Bharat at 2047, we discussed key economic reforms. We spoke about labor reforms, reimagining land acquisition, expediting disinvestment and strategic sales, recasting inflation targeting, fostering a research-nirbhar India, overhauling the IBC, and improving consumer and investor protection. In this episode, we turn to the third pillar of India at 2047 reform blueprint, industrial and manufacturing reforms. So why this is essential? Because industry creates jobs. Manufacturing drives exports. It strengthens MSMEs and it powers Atmanirbhar Bharat. Viksit Bharat 2047 is a comprehensive vision of the Government of India. It aims to transform India into a developed nation by 2047, the 100th year of independence. Achieving this vision requires mission mode action. Multiple lines of efforts must move together across bureaucracy and governance, industry and manufacturing, economics, health, agriculture and rural development, education and social equality. Many of these reforms are already underway with defined roadmaps and clear milestones. India remains a services and agricultural dominant economy. Even today, industry and manufacturing contribute approximately 27.13% of GDP in 2024-25. By 2047, India aims for a $30 trillion GDP. To reach that goal, manufacturing alone must contribute $7.5 trillion, 25% of total GDP. Progress in this sector has powerful multiplier effects. It boosts employment, strengthens MSME, and accelerates Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives. This video examines 10 shortlisted reform areas in the industry and manufacturing sector. It reviews the current status of these reforms. It suggests course correction where needed, and it recommends alternative focus areas where gaps exist. Time is critical. India has less than 2 decades to reach 2047. That urgency shapes every recommendation. Global experiences are also examined to identify practical and achievable pathways. These reforms are outlined in a special edition of IIPA Digest. They are authored by IIPA senior faculty, Professor K.K. Pandey, along with the participant of 51st APPA, including Brigadier Rahul Jain and Brigadier Arjun K. These reforms are practical, they are achievable, and they are critical to India's transformation by 2047. Let us examine them one by one, also answering your queries. Increase defense spending to 3% of GDP. So you may ask, what is India's current position in defense spending? India is the third largest military spender globally. Defense spending stands at 2.27% of GDP, amounting to 6,81,200 crores. In 2024-25, the Ministry of Defense signed 193 contracts worth 2,09,050 crore. Of these, 177 contracts worth 1,68,000 crore went to domestic industry. For financial year 25-26, 75% of the modernization budget, or 1,11,500 crore, is earmarked for domestic procurement. That is around 3.94 is reserved for R&D. So you may ask, where's the problem? India's defense manufacturing remains technologically nascent. Indigenous content in key platforms like LCH helicopters is only 65%. Private sector contribution is just 21% of total defense production. MSME face skill and technological gaps. Only 28 of 83 planned MSME schemes were taken up. There is also a risk of idle funds if capital absorption capacity remains weak. So what does the reform proposes? Focus defense investments on cyber, space and emerging domains. These have dual civilian and military use. Increase R&D spending in niche technology like aircraft engines and composites. The US spends around 7% of its defense budget on R&D, Instead of non-lapsable funds, consider 5-year assured allocations. This allows long-term planning and efficient utilization. Abolish FDI roadblocks. How has FDI performed so far? FDI inflows rose from $36.5 billion in financial year 2013-14 to $81.4 billion in financial year 2024-25. Manufacturing FDI grew 18%, reaching $19.4 billion. However, net FDI fell to $353 million in financial year 25, a decline of 96.5%. India ranked 62 in the OECD FDI Regulatory Restrictiveness Index. What's holding FDI back? Its regulatory complexity. Its land acquisition remains difficult. Labor codes are passed but not fully implemented. Infrastructure and logistic gaps reduce attractiveness. FDI inflows remain concentrated in financial centers. Manufacturing receives relatively lower long-term investment. What solutions are suggested? Open additional sectors to FDI, including green technology and AI. Strengthen logistics under PM Gati Shakti and the National Logistics Policy. Implement labor codes uniformly across states. Adopt land pooling models, as seen in Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh. Revive MSME growth. Why are MSMEs so central to this reform agenda? MSME contribute 30% of GDP and employ over 25 crore people. They account for 45.79% of exports in 24-25. Exporting MSMEs increased from 52,849 in 2020-21 to 1,73,000 in 24-25. Yet the sector faces a 30 lakh crore credit gap. Where do MSMEs struggle the most? 97% of MSMEs are micro enterprises. Only 19% of credit demand is met. 82% of medium enterprises lack Industry 4.0 technologies. Awareness of schemes and R&D support remains low. What course correction is proposed? Strengthen entrepreneurship and skill programs like entrepreneurship and skill development programs and assistance to training institutions. Promote women and SC/ST entrepreneurship through targeted schemes. Scale up one district, one product, cluster development and e-commerce linkages. Focus policy attention on medium enterprises, which generate 40% of MSME exports. Dedicated zones for rare earth. What is India's position in rare earth minerals? India holds 6.9 million metric tons of rare earth reserves, yet it imports over 90% of its requirement. The National Critical Mineral Mission, launched in 2025, plans 1,200 exploration projects and 10,000 skilled workers by 2031. What are the key gaps? India entered this sector late. Processing and recycling technologies are weak. Clearance involves multiple agencies. Workforce targets are modest. What is the way forward? Fast-track National Critical Mineral Mission timelines. Expand workforce target beyond 10,000. Align environmental and atomic clearances. Develop processing zones with modern infrastructure. Encourage R&D and e-waste recycling. Align grading with global standards. How aligned are Indian products with global standards? Well, over 140 quality control orders now cover 550 plus products. India has nearly 23,000 standards as of January 25, but only 35,000 MSMEs have BIS certification out of 6 crore enterprises. What's the bottleneck? BIS certification lacks global acceptance. MSMEs struggle with compliance cost. Factory inspection face delays. What does the reform suggest? Phase quality control order implementation for MSMEs. Provide financial assistance and technical assistance. Pursue mutual recognition agreements with FTA partners. Seek international accreditation for BIS certifications. Single window factory approval. So you may wonder, hasn't India already launched a single window system? Well, yes, the National Single Window System was launched in 2021. It integrates 32 central departments in 29 states. Yet factories require 20 plus approvals. Only 40% of applications meet timelines. Why does it fall short? Center-state fragmentation persists. Many agencies operate outside national single window system. The system acts more as a guide than an approval gateway. What's the proposed fix? Create inter-agency working groups, standardize data and approval requirements, provide legal backing to enforce timelines, ensure political ownership of the system. Global Financial Hub. The Gift City was launched in 2015 to onshore the offshore. It hosts banking, fintech, leasing, bullion exchange, and foreign universities. However, it still trails hubs like Singapore and Dubai. What limits its growth? Regulatory overlaps between Special Economic Zone and International Financial Services Centers Authority. Connectivity and ecosystem gaps. Investor concerns over tax clarity and stability. What is recommended? Implement expert committee recommendations on regulatory enablement, tax incentives, infrastructure, financial innovation, and ecosystem development. Unlock global listing. Around 70 Indian companies are listed globally. They represent $2.3 trillion in market value. Rules for overseas listings were notified in 2024, but uptake remains limited. So you may ask, India allowed overseas listing, why hasn't it taken off? Regulatory ambiguity across SEBI, RBI and MCA. High compliance cost. Limited internal readiness of companies. What needs to change? Encourage voluntary governance codes. Part fund listing cost for MSMEs. Clarify permissible jurisdiction. Consider a dedicated regulator for overseas listing. Build a smart export system. Multiple digital systems exist. ICE Gate, DGFT, eSanchit. E-commerce exports may reach $100 billion by 2030 and India targets $2 trillion exports by 2030. What challenges do Indian exporters face today? High logistic cost, fragmented regulations, low value addition in exports. What does the reform propose? Create a single digital export window. Promote sector-specific value addition. Expand logistics infrastructure. Explore new markets in Africa and South America. Predictable power tariff regime. How does power affect manufacturing competitiveness? India has near universal electricity access. Installed capacity 60% fossil and 40% non-fossil. DISCOM losses stood at 90,000 crore in financial year 21. Per capita consumption is 1255 kilowatts, far below the global average. What are the problem areas? Cross subsidies burden industry. High AT&C losses at 20.93%. Renewable transition pressures are rising. What solutions are proposed? Adopt cost-reflective tariffs. Separate agricultural feeders. Use smart meters and AI for demand prediction. Transform distribution companies into network companies. The Viksit Bharat vision in any form depends on one core outcome: strong economic activity, world-class products produced at competitive cost, products that can be exported or confidently consumed at home. Globally, the economic landscape has changed. The world is moving away from deep globalization. Supply chains are becoming shorter, more domestic, more vertically integrated. This shift has forced India to look inward at industrial capacities we once overlooked. As we moved rapidly into a services-led economy, but building industrial strength is not easy. It needs capital, labor, land, and know-how. Policy signals alone are not enough. Government nudges have limits. What is required is a whole-of-nation approach. Beyond the 10 reforms discussed, some collateral areas also matter. This takes us to the next pillar of reforms, that is agriculture and rural prosperity, which we will discuss in the next video, under which we will explore liberating agricultural market, ramping up food storage, rethinking ethanol blending, focusing on food processing to boost agricultural exports, enhancing agricultural productivity, promoting non-farm activity, smoothing farm credit flow, paying all subsidies via DBT, replacing MSME with farm income insurance, and ensuring clear land ownership titles. That's it for this time. Hope you found it interesting. And to read the full article by Professor K.K. Pandey, look at the description below for the link. Thank you for watching.